Hello, hello, hello. Morning, Darren. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, Philip, it's a big place, and it's a bit of a maze. You can't get lost. No worries. Thanks for checking in. Hope you can catch it later on afterwards. Oh, thanks. I appreciate that. Try not to work too hard today. Yeah, the Underdark is, it's expansive. There's a lot of content down there, but the other good thing about it is that you can play it so many different ways. And that's kind of what I'm exploring between the two playthroughs today is we've gone entirely different ways. You know, with the Bard playthrough and with the Paladin playthrough here branching off different ways and seeing how that affects things, so. Boy, Darren, that's a tricky question with a bard, because the bard, more than a lot of other character classes, has so many different paths to take. And that's why, there's the jack of all trades things that goes along when you're leveling up a bard, is because it can do so many things. But from a tabletop perspective, the main bard builds, so to speak, are either to spec your bard as a support bard or as a melee bard. And that really depends, and that really determines your subclass at that point, with College of Swords versus College of Lore. Tabletop has access to, depending upon your DM, of course, expanded rule sets that can really help bring a melee bard much more into focus. In this game, the College of Swords bard is certainly viable. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. It just isn't nearly as capable in that arena as it is in tabletop with the expanded rule sets with Tashas and Xanathars. So here I chose to go with a support type bard. I wanted my bard to have access to medium armor, so that's why I went the College of Valor route, to be able to give me access to that. But I wanted her to be more equally balanced, so to speak, between both. The College of Lore is really your typical bard support caster role. The College of Swords is your melee bard role, and the College of Valor kind of crosses the line between both a little bit. So that's the way I went with this one. But I can't really tell you, exactly what to do, because the bard is so versatile in the options that are available to it. There's so many different ways to play it. And you can even look at some of the other, great content creators on YouTube who have put together bard builds that, especially if you're going to go the melee route or you're going to go the combat focused route with College of Swords, multi-classing in a couple levels of fighter and or paladin can really boost things up quite a bit. So there are some really interesting builds out there to focus on going that way. I really just this time wanted to focus more on the support type aspects of the bard. And as we change our party out here, once we get into Act 2 and start changing our party makeup, the bard's abilities are going to come in, quite a bit more from a support perspective. So, yeah, it's a difficult question to answer, though. I think, and I haven't tried it, Peter, but I think as College of Swords, don't you get extra attack at Bard 6? I think. I mean, most people are going to end up multi-classing it with Fighter 2 at least to get Action Surge, or possibly Fighter 3 to get the Battlemaster stuff. And then just keep the extra attack from Bard 6. Yeah, that's what I thought. But then I've seen people add in, you know, for the last 2 levels, you know, things like Tempest Cleric or even a couple of Druid levels. That's true. Yeah, the extra attacks from multiple locations don't stack. That's why multi-classing, you know, Bard 6, Fighter 5 isn't going to get you 2 extra attacks. That's why if you're going Swords Bard, then my assumption would be, and again, I haven't played a Swords Bard either in tabletop or in the game, but my assumption would be is that you're gonna be Bard 6, and then you're gonna be just multi-classing in 2, maybe 3 levels of Fighter for Action Surge and then Battlemaster maneuvers, but not doing any more than that necessarily from a Fighter perspective, because the extra attack from that's not going to stack. And the other good thing about College of Swords is that you can really also just utilize a lot of feat increases. You don't necessarily need a lot of the other things. Sharpshooter can be very, very useful, but you can just, you know, pump your charisma and dexterity using feat increases quite a bit, so you don't need a bunch of extra combat feats. Alright, I think we'll go ahead and get started here. Welcome everyone to today's live stream, episode 17 of our Baldur's Gate 3 Bard gameplay series. I'm Commander Jarval, and I want to thank you for coming along on our journey today. So I don't think we have any admin notes. I will just give you a heads up. When I started the stream up today before I went live, I had a fairly serious internet drag and I was dropping a lot of frames. It seems to have corrected itself, but it's kind of bumping around quite a bit more than I would normally expect. We have some construction going on around our neighborhood here, and I hope that's not causing any problems with my internet speeds or anything like that, but we'll keep an eye on it, and if we get any buffering or anything like that, again, I certainly apologize, but it will be completely out of my control, so we'll just keep an eye on it and see. So I think from a recap perspective, last week we spent most of our time dealing with the Arcane Tower and the Kuatoa and the Drow and that sort of stuff when it came to the Bard playthrough. And we cleared out, we ended the last episode clearing out the Arcane Tower, and we are ready to move on. And that's what we're going to do today. We're going to head back out into the Underdark. We're going to make our way over to the Myconid village and start picking up some quests there before we head out and exploring the rest of the Underdark. So I think we'll just jump in here and we'll kind of quickly look at our map and explain what's happening. By exploring the Arcane Tower first, we have completed a quest that we're going to have in the Arcane Tower, or I mean in the Myconid Colony. So we'll have already done that. We'll be able to just complete that when we're there and open up a new vendor. And we've also opened up a new option for something that you can explore, which we'll be encountering a little bit later on.
How much farther can I go?
Let's go ahead and head out here. We are completely out on action economy, it looks like, so we will want to take a rest.
Should mind my step.
But let's head out here first. We'll make our way over to the Myconid Colony, and then we'll take our rest once we've done a couple of things over there. So we're going to ascend upward. We're going to ascend upward again. And now we're at the main entrance. Okay, now looking at our map here, you can see we've cleared out the Arcane Tower here. This is the decrepit village, the Duerger Encampment down here. We're going to be exploring that last. This is the storeroom for the Zentarum. Up here is the Myconid Colony, and that's what we're going to go explore today. So we're just going to hop over to the Saloonite Outpost. And then make our way out from there. And did we... I think we did search... Did we search this? I don't know if we did last time.
Don't touch me.
What to do?
We did not.
Swift as my feet can carry me. Watch how you go.
Okay, so we were successful on all the perception checks.
I might. Let's hope for gold.
Be a decent roll. Yeah.
Hardly a challenge.
Okay, so again, we've talked about the luminous armor here. Whenever you deal radiant damage, it causes the radiant shockwave effect, which basically puts a big burst of radiant orbs onto anything in its in the area around it, which can make things substantially easier to hit. So as far as radiant damage goes with this party setup, we're not going to have a whole
No one's
lot
stopped me yet.
Played at the ready.
of that. Yeah, we're not. So it's not going to be that useful during this section of the playthrough here.
Never a dull moment. Never wanted the easy path.
Hey Lord Henry, welcome to the stream. So now we're going to head out and make our way up to Myconid Colony here. Through the graveyard of Minotaurs.
How delicious.
Let's move. Need to find a way forward.
And we're just going to pick up all these crafting supplies on our way.
I'll
And
take
I've
that.
explained this before, but crafting supplies for all of these potions and everything are, I mean, they're important right now, don't get me
Broken
wrong.
bones.
But they're going to become a lot more important as we progress into the later acts, and these potions become a lot easier for us to craft on our own instead of purchasing them. And you don't have to continue carrying all of these on your person. They don't take up a lot of carry weight by themselves individually, but they do take up carry weight. So after a while of picking these up, you definitely want to start prioritizing your inventory a bit. Whoops.
Someone there? Mine.
All's well that ends. Not as bad as it could have. That might be worth a look.
Okay, so we found the dirt mound here. Okay, so Lae'zel's encumbered, so there's still quite a bit on Starian here. That'll work.
Another step forward.
Okay, now you can start to see the entrance here to the Myconid Colony. The Myconids have basically mined the front approach to their village here. And we will want to get rid of these.
Be careful. Even the mushrooms down here can't be trusted.
Okay, so here I'm gonna move up and try and pick up some of these things here. Alright, so I didn't get it in time to search the backpack.
Maybe I need more pockets.
Okay, and before I get stupid here. Okay, sorry, I was looking for something. I'm not going to jump across here just yet. I can't remember. Did we, remind me, chat, did we fight the bullet yet on this, on the Bard playthrough? I'm pretty sure we did on the Paladin playthrough. I don't want to jump across this if we haven't fought the bullet yet. Hey Cyber, welcome to the stream. Okay, I did? Good. Alright, then we are going to jump across here real quick. Like I say, you definitely do not want to jump across here this way if you have not fought the bullet yet. Trust me when I say that. Yeah. Thanks, Cyber. It's a little late now. Because as soon as you land here, the bullet will rumble the ground, he will pop up here, and he will jump right at you, and he has a good chance of knocking half your party into the chasm over here. So that's in the Paladin playthrough. Yeah, we have already gone through the Myconid Colony and picked up Glut and resurrected the bullet in that one.
I'll give it a shot.
I just couldn't remember if we had done it here yet or not. It appears that we have, or else we would have already been attacked. I just couldn't see. Normally the place that I fight the bullet is right over here. Yes, there's the blood splatters. I just couldn't see it from where I was. But I just wanted to jump across there and explore this area quickly here, open up the map. We'll jump back across. We're going to head down here a little bit. Not all that much.
Keep your distance, darling. What's in here?
I'll let Astarion lead, since anything he picks, we need to pick up, he's going to be the one to
And Myconid bodies.
pick up.
Someone's been fighting.
Right.
This way.
A few more things down here to pick up. And we can head over to the Myconid Colony. We are not going to explore the decrepit village yet.
The camp looks abandoned. And rightly so.
But here is the decrepit village. This is going to be part of a quest line that we're going to get into here in a second. I just wanted to go down here and explore these little areas. The short sword of the First Blood is actually really cool for your sneak attack melee builds. It gets you an additional 1d8 piercing damage to targets that are still full health. So starting off combat by melee sneak attacking somebody with that short sword can be very, very effective. So don't forget that it's sitting down here. And now we will make our way back up. You can, there are some, like I talked about earlier, Misty Step opportunities across here and things like that, but there's nothing out here on this side that you can reach. You actually can Misty Step or even jump, depending upon your strength, across here if you'd like, but you can just move around here if you'd like. It's much easier. Okay, and again, just opening up some of the mini-map, looking at how cool it looks around here. And now we'll head back up to the Myconid Colony.
No time to rest?
You are swallowed by a chorus of turbulent music. Through one creature sing many voices, the harmony of an entire collective.
Sovereign, she has come. She is here.
The choir fades. A single melody rises above the others, brassy and commanding.
I am sovereign.
You see a vision. Your lifeless body wrapped in fungal tendrils. The Sovereign is threatening you.
State your purpose.
Fungal roots weave through your mind, seeking your true intent. Then the Sovereign drones a new melody, cautious but welcoming.
I can mend neither skin nor spirit, but we still might commune. Descend to me. Let us speak in flesh.
The persistent music coaxes you forward. The Sovereign expects you.
Okay, so
At the ready.
that's our easy way in. It's not that hard. You don't have to pass any of the persuasion checks or any of that sort of stuff. So now we have a waypoint available to us to fast travel back here anytime we want. And we're going to immediately head over here and talk to Blurg.
I need a quick word.
Ah, a visitor. You're a welcome sight. But let us observe the customs of the locals.
The scholar's brow tenses. His voice spills into your skull, the spores connecting mind to mind.
Blurg, proud member of the Society of Brilliance, at your service. Or perhaps not. Your mind is far more complex than that of the fungi. The feeling is mutual, friend. I have only passing familiarity with the surface races. But I found that there is as much to learn from an individual as there is from a community. So it is with the Myconids. They live in harmonious unity, but each has a unique personality. My colleagues and I are working to improve conditions in the Underdark. This need not be such a dire, hostile place. It's curious to find a surface dweller here. What has brought you down so deep? Truly remarkable. But why come to the Underdark, where they hold so much power? You were infected by an illithid tadpole? It's a miracle you're still intact. You must be worried sick, but have no fear. I have a friend who may be able to assist. Omeluum!
I hope this is important, Blurg. My Zerkwood samples need constant attention.
It is. This adventurer has an illithid tadpole inside her head, but she hasn't turned.
No seromorphosis. That's impossible, but intriguing. Are you looking to have it extracted?
Geich, your head will make a fine trophy for my queen.
Please hold. I understand your rage against my kin. One of my brethren forced a tadpole into your eye. Or ear, perhaps? But I assure you, I stand with the Society of Brilliance, not the colonies of my people.
Fool! They infest your head and invade your dreams, and still you would parley.
I ask only that you refrain from violence. I respect that your opinion of my kind may be charged. If that settles matters for the time being, would you like a diagnosis? Open your mind to me. Let us see what lurks within.
As Omeluum's mind pierces yours, the tadpole pulses with power. It feels 10 times its size. Alive, awake, almost smug.
This is most unusual. The incubation period should be complete, as should your transformation. But the larva is infused with strange magic. It appears to be in some form of stasis. No, it appears to be shielded from physical and magical influence. And even without the shield, the extraction would involve severe cranial trauma. It is not ideal. The process would surely kill you. But not to worry. Should you transform, I will happily perform a new examination. A nautiloid? Fascinating. I have never set foot on one myself. They were our warships during the greatest eras of the Illithid Empire. We ruled the entire astral plane from their decks. The design was lost when the Gith rebelled and ended our dominion. Of course. I am sorry I cannot assist you in its removal. But I have an idea.
Oh, perhaps I should start taking notes.
There may be a way to bypass that stasis. There are many alchemical substances that can influence the mind. A tincture distilled from a collection of rare mushrooms. They have subtle psionic influence. I would require a fresh ton of madness and Timusk spores. But be warned, in their natural state, both of these mushrooms can be quite dangerous. Timusks cause confusion in those that approach them. The tongue is self-explanatory.
Okay, so this quest leads you to the Arcane Tower. And you can explore what that means and get the rest of the quest here, but you don't really have to because we've already been to the Arcane Tower and we've picked up the items that he's looking for.
These are fine specimens. It will only take me a moment to brew them to proper potency.
Omeluum turns away to prepare the potion, lost in its own musings.
You must drink the entire draught. I can make no promises as to its taste. It will lower the psionic defenses around the lava. If I cannot remove it, I may still be able to tell you more about its origin.
Omeluum watches you with cautious intensity. It expects doubt. It expects fear.
Only in that you may be a danger to yourself. What the potion may make you see or feel, I cannot determine. But unless you are already a step from death, it will not kill you.
The potion is disgusting beyond description. The only mercy is that it goes down quickly.
Not a drop left. Very good. As the potion influences your mind, you may find yourself acting irrationally. Try and stay focused.
The world loses its edges, its finer boundaries. You are fluid, but trapped like a creature suspended in amber.
Okay, so I'm going to have two saving throws here. One's intelligence based and one is wisdom based. So I have a couple of different options here for getting bonuses to this. So I'm gonna be taking a short rest anyway, so utilizing Bless here is fine. Didn't need it anyway, and I meant a long rest, not a short rest.
Dark holes bite at the edges of your vision, but the void cannot draw you in. The tadpole spasms, seizes. It's fighting the potion even harder than you are. Fear pierces your mind like knives of ice. The parasite digs deeper, as if it means to hollow out your skull.
So now we're back to, again, the same wisdom saving throws. A little bit higher DC this time. Still got the same 1d4 bless bonus. Ooh, good roll.
The cold blades lose their edge. You are stalwart, turning that tide of fear against itself. The parasite swells with power. More power than you have ever felt before. It surges and twists, lashing out against that which would dare to intrude. The parasite in your mind quiets, pleased with itself.
Omeluum, are you well?
That lava is like nothing I have ever observed before. Its power is unsettling. Such an outcome was not in my calculations. There is more to this being than mere stasis. Indeed. Although I may have another solution, albeit a temporary one. I possess a ring of mind shielding. It prevents elder brains from noticing my presence. It will not remove the lava, but it will limit its influence, both positive and negative. I would offer it as a gift, but in truth, the ring is priceless. Is there anything you could offer me in turn?
So here you're going to have a few options, and one of them is our bard performance. And this is, the other one's obviously intimidation. Those are both charisma-based checks. However, with your fighter types and that sort of stuff, you might have advantage on your intimidation checks. But here for us, the bard performance option is great. And again, one more instance where Owlbear is such a great thing to have. It's given me a +1 to my performance check because of it.
As Omeluum watches your performance, something stirs in his mind, unusual for an illithid. Joy.
Here, it is yours. May it serve you as well as it has served me.
To deal with this abomination, nigh unthinkable. Yet even Vlaakith herself could not deny the ring's merit.
Of course, the lava remains. Be ever vigilant of its growth.
Okay, so what we picked up here is the Ring of Mind Shielding. So I have advantage on saving throws against being charmed. In early access, you were not able to be charmed at all with this ring. So it's gotten a little bit of a nerf in this version of the game, but charmed is a condition that you're going to fail most of the time on wisdom saving throws. So it's best to go on a character that has low wisdom or is going to have more of a problem failing those checks. So for me, it's +1 for Lae'zel and Astarion. We're at 0 for myself and for Will. My 2 rings right now, the Whispering Promise is great, and Mage's Friend can probably be gotten rid of. The Arcana and Religion checks are good, don't get me wrong, but having advantage against being charmed is probably the better option there. I do want to look at skills here. So this would give him +2 on both of those. So might as well. I don't have another ring on Astarion right now. He doesn't necessarily need that ring, but we got an open ring slot.
Is that blood?
So now a couple of things. Now we can talk to
I
Omeluum.
greet you, son child.
And we do have some bard options here.
I was born with a propensity for arcane magic my people despise. It gave me the strength to resist the elder brain. Every waking hour I pushed back against its dire hold. My wizardry empowered me. The moment its control shattered, I fled. Before the colony discovered I had defected. In the beginning, I had an arrangement with a lich. Excellent company, despite what one would expect. I required brains, he required souls. A perfect symbiosis. But our ambitions eventually splintered. I wished to better the world, and he preferred its rot. So I left his company. And thus I now feed from those who act against the society's goals. Perhaps the peoples of the Underdark will be less inclined to violence if they comprehend the cost, yes?
After completing the quest with Omeluum, you can now trade with him. And Omeluum has some really cool items here normally to take a look at. So the Elixir of Psychic Resistance, basically gaining resistance to psychic damage. Not a lot of things use psychic damage. However, having the opportunity to have that psychic damage, especially when you get into fights against enemies that inflict psychic damage, specifically Githyanki, having their Githyanki weapons, the Elixir of Psychic Resistance can be very, very useful. So I'm definitely going to pick these up. All 3 of them. We have Creation's Echo. And this is a quarterstaff. Sorry, I'm just looking. Okay, never mind. I saw the Elixir of the Colossus down at the bottom. That's because I've still got that effect on my bard. So I was wondering why it was showing up in the tooltip here. This comes with the trait Elemental Resonance. So if the wielder deals acid, fire, lightning, radiant, or necrotic damage, it becomes resistant to that damage type for 2 turns. Now, this can be situational, very, very useful. If you're going up against enemies that are hitting you with fire damage, you can cast a fire spell, or you can use a any type of weapon that deals fire damage, and you become resistant to that damage, and you're only going to take half damage from it for 2 more turns. So situationally can be very useful, not something that I'm going to invest in. Then you have the Pearl of Power amulet, and this is an amulet that gives you the pearlescent restoration. So once per long rest, you can replenish expended spell slots of your choice. And this, again, can be extraordinarily useful out of, well, I guess in combat as well to a certain extent. But we'll experiment with it, and I'll kind of show you what it does as we get into things here. The Boots of Stormy Clamor have Arcane Echo Malefaction. So when the wearer inflicts a condition upon a hostile creature, they also inflict 2 turns of Reverberation. Now, Reverberation is an interesting condition. So remember, you're going to have to be inflicting a condition upon that hostile creature. But then also, when you inflict them with that condition, they're going to get Reverberation. Now, the standard thing for Reverberation is that the entity has a -1 penalty to Strength, Dexterity, and Constitution saving throws per remaining turn, which means they're going to start off with a -2 saving throw to those, and then the next turn is going to be -1, etc. However, if you can continue to inflict conditions upon the enemy, and you do it 3 times, basically, whenever you get 5 or more turns of Reverberation, it takes thunder damage and possibly falls prone, and then the condition is removed afterward. So, and then the last thing is that if the enemy's immune to thunder damage, it can't have Reverberation anyway. Now, for 1d4 thunder damage and possibly falling prone, that's not really a great benefit to the Reverberation condition. The main effect is really the -1 or -2 penalty, or higher if you keep inflicting conditions, to those saving throws. Because that then allows you to utilize spells which impact those 3 skill sets quite a bit easier. I can think of at least a couple situations where this can be very, very useful, especially against higher tier, higher hit point enemies. But again, situational at best for me. The Ring of Salving is every time you heal somebody else, you restore an additional 2 hit points. So for me, Whispering Promise and now the Ring of Mind Shielding, this would give me an additional bonus to my heal. So just like everything that is stacking up when I heal other creatures, heal my friends, the Ring of Salving just bumps that up even farther. And last is the Shadespell Circlet. So Shadespell is really fun. When the wearer is obscured in shadow, their spells gain a +1 bonus to spell save DC, making them more likely to succeed. So where this really comes into play is on that first attack where you are in hiding and you are trying to make a big hit spell land. Something like Tasha's, for instance, that can immobilize an enemy and take them out of the fight for a long time, but has difficulty landing sometimes. you can, before that combat starts, keep yourself in hiding, maneuver yourself so that you're obscured by shadows, and then when you cast that spell, you're going to have an additional chance that it's going to succeed because of the +1 to the spell save DC. So for your spellcasters, and are we gaining? Yeah, I didn't think so. So the resistance to lightning damage is great. Color spray is okay. But he's wearing the warped headband of intellect, which gives him an intelligence score of 17. He doesn't really need it as a warlock. So having the shade spell circlet on him could be an additional bonus when I can keep him in hiding and then put him in a shady spot to make that first spell land and count. So let's kind of go through what else we had picked up here. Oh, yes. And then I don't think this works. No, it doesn't. So let's go through and sell off items here. And Omeluum's not going to be around again, so we don't have to worry about upping his attitude towards us. We'll just go through here and quickly we don't need any more thieves tools or the trap disarm kit. Okay, let's go look at other items here. I do want to keep a single greatsword. So we'll keep that one. Okay, I think that's good here for now. Okay. So that cleared out a good portion of our inventory.
May your travels be safe and swift.
And okay, so this, actually, we'll keep that here with us. And you'll be able to see what this does here. So once per long rest, utilizing an action, so we can replenish one of our spell slots here. This is like Arcane Recovery, just in a, as the wizard class action. This is just amulet based. So basically once per long rest you can use an action to get an additional spell slot back. So it can be useful in combat to be able, if you're out of spells, to be able to get a spell back that you might need to help you out with that combat. Can also be used outside of combat once per long rest to do the exact same thing. So that's what the amulet does. So a good thing to have around and on you, just as a backup. And then I was looking, yeah, the warped headband of intellect we don't need. Okay, so let's get all of our inventories sorted here.
What a day.
Okay. So now we can talk to Blurg.
Welcome back. Have you made any new discoveries? Yes, but it has abundant natural resources. Spores, water orbs, trillimac. I've studied them for years.
There is rare magic in the Underdark too. Fairsres. It radiates from the earth, warping, teleportation, and divination magic.
This is not a wasteland. It is a glorious ecosystem. Every civilization here could thrive without conflict. Understandable. We are small in number and rarely stay in one place for long. I do enjoy a good bargain, if anything in my private collection is to your liking.
So we did learn a little bit about the Society of Brilliance there. Not a whole lot more to learn about them in particular, but let's take a look at what Blurg has to sell here, because there's always, again, another decent cache of magical items here. So the Boots of Genial Striding, these don't always show up here, but this is basically whenever you move over difficult terrain, your movement speed is not cut in half. That's what that does. So if you don't have anybody else that's utilizing a boot slot for anything, then it can be okay. Not necessarily all that great, though. I guess in this instance, putting them on Lae'zel, because right now she's getting lightning charges, but she's not really utilizing those for anything other than the additional bonus damage. Putting these on her would give her the ability to move across difficult terrain to get more places on the battlefield, so it might not be a bad thing for her. And I do have a lot of cash. So the Circlet of Blasting is a free Scorching Ray spell, is what it is. Once per long rest, you're able to cast Scorching Ray. Again, can be useful for your, well, for even non-magical or non-casting classes to be able to cast it. However, it does take, Scorching Ray, remember, takes an attack roll, so you need to be able to land that attack with it to be able to use it, but can be situationally useful to give you an additional spell slot to cast that. The Baneful is a more of a warlock specific weapon, in that if you bind this as your packed weapon, it gets a +1 bonus to damage and attack rolls, and when you bind it, it can possibly bane your target. It's very similar to the actions that can be, or that are inflicted using the Gloves of Power. So you can use this to bane multiple enemies. Not something I'm going to be focused on in my playthrough here. So Psychic Spark is really quite good, especially for Gale, or for somebody who you've chosen the Magic Missile spell. This gives you an additional missile whenever you cast it. So if your level allows you to get 3 Magic Missile projectiles, this gives you a 4th every time. It also lets you cast Magic Missile once per long rest from the necklace here. So it's certainly a benefit to have. I'm not utilizing the Blast Pendant very much, but this, if I cast Magic Missile with Will, is going to allow him to get an additional bonus out of it. The Cinder Shoes, whenever you burn an enemy, the enemy gains 2 turns of heat. That's basically, they take an additional 1d4 fire damage each turn. But they can use that heat to deal fire damage back on their attacks. So Cinder Shoes not very useful in my mind. Sungwalker's Gift, for anybody who has an open ring slot who does not have dark vision, can be useful. The Lifebringer is, whenever the wearer gains lightning charges, they also gain 3 temporary hit points. So for your lightning charge based builds, this can be something useful to have. 3 hit points, though, you find quickly, especially when you get into the later acts, doesn't really mean a whole lot. So again, not something I'm going to concentrate on. And then Mel's First Staff is a +1 quarterstaff, which is always good. However, the Arcane Encampment perk here gives you a +1 bonus to spell save DC and spell attack rolls. Now this can pair up nicely with what we've looked at previously, which, in the Ring of Salving I was going to put on here. With the Shade Spell Circlet. So for Will, having the Mel's First Staff on here and the Shade Spell Circlet, he can gain a +2 bonus to his spell save DC on that first attack that he makes while obscured in shadow, or any other time that he's obscured in shadow. So he can make it much more likely that his spells are going to land. However, the Staff of Arcane Blessing, remember, Mistra's Blessing grants an additional 1d4 saving throws and weapon attack rolls, and an additional 2d4 to spell attack rolls. So the Staff of Arcane Blessing is great whenever you're able to use the Bless component, which is once per long rest. You can really gain a big boost to your spell attack rolls. However, the remainder of the time, Melf's First Staff is going to allow you to gain a +1 back all of the time. So kind of one of those things where you use the Staff of Arcane Blessing with the Bless ability whenever you really want a big bonus once per long rest, and then the rest of the time you can equip Melf's first staff to gain the +1 spell bonus for the rest of the time. So a lot of things to really boost up your abilities here. So, ooh. Really like the Edvard's Black Tentacles spell. Basically, in a 6-meter radius, it's an area denial thing. It's very much like the Twisting Vines and that sort of stuff that you cast on the ground. However, it also smothers, which means that if they don't make their strength save, they're going to take 3d6 bludgeoning damage per turn while they're stuck. So the other thing about it is that while they're stuck, any attack rolls against it have advantage, and all of their attack rolls have disadvantage. So Edvard's Black Tentacles is a really, really good area denial spell. Oh, Phantasmal Killer is really good. There's some good spells in here on scrolls. Well, let's go through and clear out the rest. Of our inventory here. Probably don't need these anymore. Okay, I do want to keep that one great sword. I actually do need a couple of trap disarm kits. I need to remember to keep those. I think that's it. One last quick look here. Yes.
Very well. I have mushrooms to catalog.
Okay, so a lot of good items here between these two. Remember, with Omeluum, you have to have completed the quest that we did in the Arcane Tower. So don't think that you can just walk up and trade with him right off the bat. You need to... that's interesting. The Shattered Seldarine, when you hover over it, but here, I guess to pick it up, it's marked as steel, but you could read it if you wanted. But to open up his store, you have to complete the quest first.
What path lies before me?
So now, an interesting thing that I do want to mention. Well, let's go up here and talk to Thulla first, I guess. Do I have an antidote on me? I do.
What's up for discussion?
Don't. Duerger! Oh, slashed me! Oh, poison!
Gods! Whatever that is, I needed it. Why are you helping me? No arguments there. Felt like a hook horror was sorting through my guts. But That cure did the trick. Quick, sharp too.
I thank you for your help, but I gotta get moving. Oh, Carl's garters. Oh, I don't have time for this. My kin need me. Maybe not, but you are. I need you to rescue my kin. We can pay. We're Ironhand Clan, best artificers in Baldur's Gate. We were on an expedition down here when the Duergar snatched us up. I got away, but not the others. The Greys have them digging out some old ruin across the lake. Just mining for materials. Nothing unusual.
The briefest hesitation, but enough. She's lying.
But our work pays well. Help my clan, and we'll make it worth your while. I swear.
Oh, I do have a persuasion check here I can make. It's high DC, but I have some high abilities.
Fine. It's complicated, but my clan has trouble back in the city. A blood feud. We were searching for something to turn the tide. That's all I can say. But it's worth a lot to us. Understand? Look, you've done me a good turn and you deserve the truth. But that's as much of it as I can tell, I swear it. If you need to go your own way, I respect that, but still, I'm asking. Thank you. Only wish I could go with you. But here... I nabbed these boots from the Greys when I ran. I'll feel better knowing you're using them to kick some Duergar ass. I'll mark where I made my escape, and wait here, I suppose. Not much choice, eh?
Okay, so you received the Boots of Speed here. So the Boots of Speed give you the Click Heals class action. Now, for Astarion has 2 bonus actions already, which means he's able to disengage and hide or disengage and dash because he has, in the same turn, because he has 2 bonus actions. Now, what the Boots of Speed give you are the Click Heals class action. That basically gives you dash. Using 1 bonus action, you get dash, your movement speed doubles, and instead of a full disengage, where enemies do not get any opportunity attacks against you when you're moving past them, this gives you gives them disadvantage on those opportunity attacks. So with 1 bonus action, I can get dash and not a full disengage, but a pretty good disengage. And then I could still use my second bonus action to go into hiding afterwards. So it expands upon Astarion's abilities, but it's not just Astarion. It can expand on anybody's abilities to get out of combat when you are surrounded by enemies by giving them all disadvantage while at the same time being able to double your movement speed. I am going to move these over to Astarion. I believe he's got the spring step boots. Yes, he does. So whenever I dash, I gain momentum for 3 turns. Momentum gives me an additional 1.5 meters movement speed. However, having the Boots of Speed here, basically giving me disengage, and dash all in one bonus action is incredibly useful. Because instead of using this dash or this disengage, I'm going to be using click heals, and then I can hide afterward. Now, if you're not surrounded by enemies, click heals doesn't really matter because you're not going to be invoking attacks of opportunity anyway. But there's no reason not to just get used to utilizing it. These boots, they don't look all that great with all of his, really cool, dark colored, thief-looking gear. But the benefit that comes along with them is it's hard to pass up. It really is.
All right.
So, something important to mention here. Down here is Sovereign Glut. So, we haven't talked to Sovereign Spa yet. That's part of what we need to do here. However, as soon as you talk to Sovereign Spa and then you walk down here past Glut, you're going to trigger a cutscene where Glut is going to ask you to basically bring you along with him. However, if you don't talk to Sovereign Spa, none of that triggers down here. You're free to walk out here and maneuver around and all of that sort of stuff without involving Glut in what you want. You can still talk to him without a problem. You just don't have to talk to him now if you don't want to by skipping the interaction with Sovereign Spa at this point. It doesn't really matter for us. We're going to want to pick up Sovereign Glut anyway here. Let's look at the final set of quests here first. So I do have Speak with Animals still.
Want Master back. He treats me good now. Doesn't kick me anymore.
Okay, so that kind of gives you a clue about his master here. So let's talk to Derryth.
Seems the shrooms are letting in more people every day. You see a fella on his own on your way in. Dwarf. Baelen's his name. Right. Never mind.
Now, if you look at Derryth, you can see that she's got some scars here on her face.
My useless husband. Sent him for an errand. It's no surprise he's made a mess of it. Knock yourself out. But don't come begging for coin if you find him. You try to ransom him to me, you'll find yourself skint and stuck with a fat old lout. Bald, blue tunic, dumb as a stick.
Okay, so we can talk to Derryth here. She's another trader here in the camp, and she normally has some interesting items. So the Amulet of Restoration is really good for your healers. It basically allows you a free mass healing word, as well as a regular healing word spell. So both of which can be very, very useful. And that is going to be the amulet that I utilize on my bard for now. And then if I need to gain spell slots back, I'll use the power amulet while I'm not in combat to gain them back. So ringmail +2, decent armor class for your heavy armor wielders, but I believe, yeah, I've got chainmail +1, which is 17 here. Chain shirt +2 is again 15, I believe. Yes, so it's the same. So basically, instead of disadvantage on stealth checks, I would gain a +1 bonus to dexterity saving throws and checks, which is straight up better than what I'm wearing right now. The corrosive flail gives you tenacity. It's a +1 flail, which is, obviously very nice. But it gives you tenacity. Whenever you miss an attack, you deal 1 bludgeoning damage anyway. It also gives you an additional proficiency unlock with corrosive strike. So whatever your proficiency bonus is, and right now my proficiency bonus is +3, that proficiency bonus goes up as you go up in level. Gets added on to my damage as acid damage, and it creates a pool of acid around the target, lowering its armor class by 2. So it can be very, very useful for dropping the armor class of whoever's standing in the acid. The downside is that enemies tend to move out of that acid pretty quickly to avoid that effect. So Herbalist Gloves is another way. What am I wearing now? I'm wearing Hellrider's Pride. Yeah, so this is a way to, if you do not have an antidote, you can heal a creature or one of your party members and remove the poison. I've got plenty of antidotes. I believe I've got 2 left here, and I think everybody has at least 1 or 2. Yeah, so I've got plenty of antidotes, so I'm not going to focus on it this time. The Ring of Jumping is something very useful, especially for Astarion, to keep in his back pocket, to give him the ability to jump far distances to get to a chest or something like that that he needs to unlock. So again, something useful just to keep in your back pocket situationally whenever you use it or whenever you need it. The Caustic Band is a straight up 2 acid damage that is added to any of your damage. So for right now, she's just wearing the Ring of Flinging, I think, because she had it available to her. We don't really throw much. So I'm going to pick up the Caustic Band. Pretty well, and we'll sell the Ring of Flinging. And I think the rest are just... So... Yeah, it's just +1 armors here and weapons for the rest of it. Yeah. So nothing too serious. Just looking at the black and jade green dye. That's interesting. Let's see what one of those looks like. Okay, and I think that's it. Okay, so Derryth having some scars on her face, and the Deep Rothe here saying that his master doesn't beat him anymore, kind of gives you some hints about Baelen Bonecloak here. Not some very good hints about Baelen. So let's look at this die here. Okay, so we'll look at it more once the Elixir of the Colossus wears off here in a second. So we're going to take a long rest here. We've sold off everything that we need to. Let me make sure that... Okay. So we do have our lithid powers here.
Action, not reaction.
Okay. So it looks like we're all set up. I'm going to go ahead and take a long rest here, and we're probably going to have some conversations that we're going to have when we do this. It's been a while.
Wonder if the gods are watching me.
Hope you're keeping well, friend.
Okay, always got a pet scratch. I'm a cat person, but I do like dogs. Always got a pet scratch. So let's go around and have our conversations here. And I just want to explore this camp a little bit too. It's been a while since I've seen this camp. So it looks like the magic users wanting to stick together here.
How can I help? If it should ever come to that, if I ever know I am no longer able to stop it, I will do anything I can to ensure no one but me pays for my mistakes. I will find the remotest place on the surface of Faerun, or perhaps far below in the depths of the Underdark. I will await that death, alone. I promise I will not betray your trust. You kept me by your side despite the menace that I am. If worst comes to worst, I will be long gone before the curtain falls.
Okay, so nothing else for Gale.
Already feeling better.
Welcome to the League of the Lone Eye, my friend. Not to minimize the pain of Volo's poking and prodding, but I promise, you'll be used to the prosthesis in no time. Besides, I find it gives one an air of mystique. No one's more intriguing than a woman with one eye. Not so enchanting as you'd think. The Portiers, the Caldwells, they were the blue bloods hosting the fancy balls and drinking from gold goblets. Father's the son of a blacksmith, born with barely a coin in the coffers. He made a name for himself among the Flaming Fist, brave as Baldur and stubborn as a deep Rothay, daring, outspoken, but hardly posh. I spent more time dueling with Father than I did rubbing elbows with lords. Not to say I didn't develop a taste for good wine and a talent for courtly dance. Yes and no. Father taught me the 4 pillars of power: courage, insight, strategy, justice. He reckoned I'd follow in his footsteps. First as a fist marshal, then as a duke. Vanquish evil, maintain order, save the world. But a duke makes bedfellows with more monsters than he slays. Father called it diplomacy. I called it hypocrisy. In the frontiers, there is no posturing, no diplomacy. I slay monsters, I don't consort with them. Even if I might look like one. I think that unknowable powers come with unknowable consequences. I can't say I'm not curious, but once you take an illithid by the talon, there's no telling how deep into the abyss it might drag you.
Okay, so this is your opportunity to persuade Will. High DCs to do this. However, I, again, have a lot of persuasion advantages. I'm going to do this without friends. I don't like casting friends on my party members or my or the origin characters.
I'm more than a bit wary, I admit. Still, I am the frontier's avowed protector. New dangers require new skills to vanquish them. If the tadpole must be my curse, then let the powers it grants me be the Sword Coast's blessing. I will consume what I must to make it so.
Okay, so nothing else for Will. We'll just check again one more time. Paulson's here.
You wish to speak? It's had the whole region around Moonrise Towers in a chokehold of darkness and despair for years now. Those who remained are shadow-cursed. If you don't die at their hands, then you become one of them. We have to get to Moonrise, but the less time we spend in its blighted surrounds, the better. Precious little, but I'm quite certain it can still be found. With such stimulating company? Never better.
Okay, so finished with Halsin. Talk to Lae'zel.
Speak. Quickly. It is a certainty. I had assumed our parasites served a Geich elder, but I believe they serve a greater master still. A question that burns in my belly day and night. Elders and collectives abide by their own tenets. It would require a powerful creed to unite them. And now this voice, this creed, finds our own ears. If it reaches this plane, it may reach others.
Okay, all finished up there. We can talk to Karlach.
What's on your mind?
Nothing else there. Looks like Astarion wants to talk. We'll wait. We'll hold Astarion until the end, based upon our previous encounter.
Shah's blessings upon you. Fine. What's on your mind?
I don't think I've ever had a confidant quite like you. And if I have, I can't remember them. After all, what I shared with you about my past, about being saved from the wolf, that is not something I would normally even dream of sharing.
I suppose some would commend our actions. Goblins would have razed that whole place to nothing if it weren't for us. No excuse to rest on our laurels, though. We've still got our own problems to contend with.
Okay, nothing new with Shadowheart.
I-F. Or is it an E? Is it even a letter? What damn language is this? What are you doing? Wait. I'm sorry. You caught me by surprise, that's all. I've been tracing the scars on my back with my fingers, trying to read them by touch. But I can't. They may as well be written in Rashimi. This isn't your problem, you know. Fine.
The pattern swirls before you, runes hacked crudely into his flesh. You can't read it, but you recognize the letters. Infernal, the language of the Hells.
And? What does it say? Infernal? Are you sure? Can you show me? What in the hells? What did he do to me? No. No, let's keep this between ourselves. At least until we know what it means. 2 centuries carrying this. And I can finally see it. No. I could have missed it, of course, but I doubt it. Cazador was only figuratively hellish. There were never any devils hanging about the crypt. Whatever he's left carved in my flesh, it's a mystery to me. Thank you, by the way. This is... well, it's something. Will we? How sweet.
Okay, so we'll talk to Astarion again just to make sure there's nothing else.
Hello, beautiful.
Okay, nothing else. So you learned a little bit more about his history there, and there's going to be more of that. So while we're here, let's clear out inventory space. So... actually, I don't know why I'm transferring these to me.
Oh, enough waiting. I crave blood.
Nope, we're going to keep Cyanide in the safeguard shield. So this is 5 to 13, 5 to 17. Big damage bonus. However, Feller of Monsters having the advantage against monstrosity type enemies could be very. I think I'll keep that on me. That I can actually sell. Definitely going to keep that. We're going to be utilizing it, actually. That I can sell. Guiding Light I'll keep. The Ring of Mind Shielding I'll keep. That I'll keep. Going to be utilizing those and Reason's Grasp. Don't think I'm going to end up utilizing this. The Amulet of Sylvanas I'm going to keep. Okay. And now here, yeah, I'm going to keep Mel's first staff as the hide armor +2 I can sell. So boy, I'm trying to... Larian's got a +1 to his intelligence saves. I think I'll keep this here for now. Rain Dancer I'm keeping. Staff of Crones I'll keep on me. And then here, last inventory. The Great Axe I can sell. The Short Sword of the First Blood I'm going to keep. So, let me look at this.
Well, hello.
Here real quick. So... yeah, I think I'm going to change this out. The Helmet of Smiting, I'm definitely going to use, just not now. I can sell the studded leather armor. Luminous I'm going to send to camp as well. The slippery chain shirt I'm not going to use. I think the spring step boots could be more useful. Or Lae'zel. Okay, and these are my normal boots that you use, or normal gloves that you use when you're not in combat. Same thing with that. Okay, and that I can sell. Okay, so...
watch the shadows.
Let's go take our rest here. Whoops.
Shouldn't have wished to live in more interesting
Don't need a
times.
Starian to do it. I guess it doesn't matter if he did it or not, but... don't want that. We can use the blue caps. That's not a big deal. 68. Oh, okay. So 6. Do I have a 4 anywhere? There.
Food hungry. Want bite. Food. Eat more.
Now that you've fed it, we'll never be rid of the beast.
No. Run.
It'll be back for more rations, mark my words.
Okay, so we got the Owlbear Cub. Start of the Owlbear Cub quest line, so to speak. And it is going to be one. It's rather interesting with the Owlbear Cub. The Owlbear Cub took off after that first encounter. But we'll see more of it. Oh yeah, the magic mirror. I don't know if we've gone over
There's nothing.
the magic mirror or not. Yeah, she's scared off the Owlbear Cub. So the magic mirror allows you to re-customize your appearance. This was something that was asked for a lot during the initial release of the game, just like the wardrobe, being able to kind of store your hirelings and that sort of stuff. And the ability to redo your character appearance is nice. There is one thing that I wanted to get rid of, and that I never removed these. So I never really liked them, so I'll just confirm that. But yeah, that's what the magic mirror does. And then finding my way around this camp is more difficult because I don't use this camp very often. But you can find the magic mirror in all of your camps. So we'll go and leave camp now. And now, starting off, we're going to do what we normally do. And let's actually go sell first. We do have some items that we want to sell here. And they should have all of their gold back now. So go through and look. The leather armor we can sell. The longsword +1. The hunting short bow we're going to keep. Okay, all of this is fine. The hide armor +2 will sell. Rain Dancer we're going to keep. Great Axe +1. The slippery chain shirt. The drow studded leather. And I think we're okay now. Let's actually do we have any trap disarm kits here? We do. I want to get back up to 5.
Right now. Waiting for my idiot husband's return. Lest you've seen him, we don't have much to discuss. Like I told you already, I'm waiting for that lummox Baelen. The rest is my own business.
Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're actually going to head out. We're not going to talk to Sovereign Spa yet. Well, actually, you know, want to do it this way or not? I don't think I will. I don't think I'm going to... boy. Debating in my head. Should I go get the bullet this playthrough as well and deal with maneuvering it all around all over the place like I am in the Paladin livestream? What do y'all think? Because it is a pain to maneuver that thing around. There's no doubt about it. It takes additional time to do it. I'm utilizing it in my Paladin livestream so you can see kind of how it works. It is extremely powerful, though. It can make combat encounters significantly easier if you have it with you.
Baelen, where are you?
I don't think I'm going to. Okay, so let's put on the ever-seeing eye here. Now we can take that off and replace it with the Amulet of Restoration again. I am going to take another potion of animal speaking. Well, I'm thinking, no, we'll wait and do that until we need it. One thing I am going to do is go into my alchemy patch, and I'm going to split one autumn crocus off and keep that in my inventory. Yeah, I think in this playthrough I'm going to skip it. It is very, very useful for both the hook horror combat as well as the Duerger Encampment combat down here. It's also very useful if you've picked it up early enough during the spectator fight, especially if you're wanting to just kill all the drow. Very, very useful in all of those combat situations. I've already finished off the drow encounter here. I think we're just going to go ahead and play it without it. So we're not going to talk to Glut or Sovereign yet. Going to head out here this way.
Had a bag of holding.
Okay, and heading down this way takes us down to the decrepit village as well, but it also leads us around this way. Or we can head over here. We're just going to clear out a little bit here of things that I know we can pick up. And then we're actually going to head back this way.
Even with your keen eyesight, the hole below you soon plummets into an abyss of impossible darkness. Your call echoes as it plunges downward, before gradually fading away.
So this has changed since early access. Does anybody know of a new interaction with the deep hole here? I'm not entirely sure that there is one, but like I say, let me know in the chat if there is one. So we do have a chasm creeper up here, and we also have this chest up here. So, and I can't remember if this chest is locked or not. It is not.
What now?
Eager for battle. Quickly then.
Yeah, I don't think you can actually jump into that hole. Okay, so we have some more crafting materials up here. Not too worried about the little damage taken here.
Still breathing, despite everything. If not over, then through.
Okay, so that's as far as I want to go around this way for now. We're going to come back this direction. But we're going to head down here first.
Might be useful.
Just like we did previously, we're going to do some searching of things down here. We're not going to head down into the decrepit village yet.
What's in here?
Okay, so you get into this new area called the Dread Hollow, and before you go too far into this, you want to be a little careful about where you're walking. You can see there's a detection cone here, and that's because we do have wandering hook horrors in this area. All around the Sussar tree here, which we're going to be exploring more in a little bit, you have 4 hook horrors that are wandering around here. And you can fight with them almost one at a time, but you can pick off the 2 on the outsides. The other 2 in the middle, you normally have to kind of fight together. But we're going to head around back here, out of the range of the hook horror, holding Alt as we go. And like I say, just pay attention. Normally when you get more over into this area, you'll run into the hook horror's detection cone.
Oh, my hand slipped.
Okay, I'm going to have Astarion cast guidance here. I'm going to break my group. Okay, so I failed that check. I rolled a 12.
Watch your back.
Shall we?
Rolled a 15. Takes a high wisdom stat to be able to make this even doable. And again, like I've talked about before, there is of course another way to do this, which we'll do if we fail. Okay, and he was successful. So he rolled a 17. He's got proficiency. That's what gave him the extra bonus. So there is a dirt mound here.
Does this count as adventuring? Here we go.
And then we come up to the tombstone. Now, the interaction with the tombstone here depends upon what you've done down here in the Underdark. If you have not gone to the Arcane Tower yet, then when you come up here to the tombstone and you interact with it the first time, the only option you're going to get is to dig up the grave. You don't know anything about the tombstone. You can read it, but you don't know anything about it. If you've been to the Arcane Tower, however, and you read the book that concerns the grave here and what this is a grave of, you're going to get another possible interaction. Now, I haven't tested it to see if the ingredients in your alchemy pouch work or not, but you want to have an Autumn Crocus bundle when you do this, and you can come up here and interact with the tombstone.
The rock under your feet juts upwards, forming a perfectly engraved tombstone with a small epitaph. In memory of Myrna, a shining light in this dark world, may you forever gaze upon the lake you loved to play in.
Okay, so we learned about Myrna. Myrna was their pet dog. And we found her bedding area and the book that talked about laying Autumn Crocus on the tombstone. We have the bundle of Autumn Crocus in our inventory, and we now get this option here to do this. You can still dig up the grave if you would like. Digging up the grave gives you a collar. That collar is a magical collar that then when you take it back to the Arcane Tower and you put that collar on, you get a very interesting dialogue if you put the collar on Astarion when you do it. And then you press the button by the dog's bed, it will dispense you a steak. It was basically an automatic feeder type of magical item. You can't dispense steak over and over and over again. It's a one-time thing, but it will get you some camp supplies, but that's it. So if you want to explore that option, feel free to. However, I'm just going to put the flowers on the tombstone now.
The wind softly rustles the flower petals. Somehow, the grave feels whole again.
Okay, you don't get anything else out of it except for the approval
Memory
there.
of Myrna, a shining light in this dark world.
So nothing else to do. So it looks like it does know that I have the... and you know, that's actually a good question. It might not even need Autumn Crocus. I never thought about that. I do have a bunch in my alchemy pouch, but if I don't have any in my alchemy pouch or even in my party, I wonder if just because we've read the book over there, if it just allows you to place Autumn Crocus here, even if you don't have it. That's an interesting thing to do, or interesting thing for me to check, but yeah, that's how this can play out with that additional dialogue option. If you've been to the Arcane Tower first.
Breathe quiet. Move with care.
So now we're going to move around. You can see we start getting some carcasses and corpses and things like that over here. And this is all because of the hook horrors that are wandering around this area. So we're going to... get ready for this, and we're going to trigger combat with this hook horror here. Now, hook horrors are not nice at all. And I'm waiting for it to pop back up so I can examine here. So they have a multi-attack that they can make if the target is prone. And they also have a leap attack that they do as well. These are monstrosity type enemies. So keeping that in mind, your Feller of Monsters items are now going to give you advantage on the attacks that you make. And remember that the attacks aren't just the ranged type. So I've got the bow on here, the hunting short bow. However, even if I wanted to make a melee attack using Falar Louv here, and I'll just wait quickly for it to come back, you're going to see that I'm going to have advantage on that melee attack. So that's what makes those two items with the Feller of Monsters traits on them so good, is because the advantage, see, I have advantage because of Feller of Monsters. Also because I'm hiding, but when combat commences, Feller of Monsters is always going to be active. So what we're going to do here... No. I absolutely hate that. I've hated that since early access. It is the dumbest possible thing to have ever been put into this game. I have no idea why it's even in the game. Sorry, rant over. Being able to physically attack your characters by clicking on their portraits is just stupid. It's just dumb. Now, if you want to attack your characters by clicking on a weapon and then clicking on them, that's fine. But being able to attack them by clicking on their portraits is just is just stupid. It makes no sense to me.
Shall we?
Okay, so we're gonna move up here,
They won't see me.
and we're gonna make an attack against the Hook Horror and start this off with Astarion. And we're gonna wait until the Hook Horror moves down here quite a bit, because you can see other detection cones that are forming. Okay, so it's too far out of range. I think I can move over here and still be out of the detection cone. I'm pretty sure. We'll just wait for it to move back. Okay, let's move back. And when it pauses right here, I'll make a sneak attack against it. I could
I don't trust that tree. It feels wrong.
climb up here. I would then have problems with the detection cone. Yep. Okay, I wasn't hoping for that, because now I'm going to get into this as well. Okay, so I wasn't hoping for this, but I can certainly deal with it. So, Filro the Forgotten up here moved over, and his detection cone overlapped me down here on the bottom. So that triggered the Hook Horror combat with him, and then because it knocked me out of hiding, when this Hook Horror turned around, it saw me as well. So I've got 2 Hook Horrors to deal with, and Filro. So Filro is a Lulsworn Drow. He's a magic user. So you can count on the fact that he's going to be casting spells at you. And because he is a drow, he has Fey ancestry, so he's got advantage on saving throws against being charmed, and he can't be put to sleep. So our Hook Horrors, we already examined them. They don't have any resistances to speak of. So I think what we're going to do is probably get an attack in here. We're going to click heals. Okay, so where's the detection cone? It's down here.
A better position.
I don't think hiding's gonna matter, because I think he's still out of range. He is. But we'll go ahead and make the attack anyway.
Some blood.
Sure, I might as well use Luck of Far Realms now. And now I'm gonna move back.
Quickly.
And I'm going to reposition some of my other characters here.
False move.
Quiet as a moonbeam.
There's blood.
To lure the Hook Horror and Filro down here. Okay, so a Misty Step.
Shut that oversized chicken up.
I like that. Shut that oversized chicken up. So, still have a 90% hit chance here against Filro. Okay, so he made his saving throw. Got disadvantage on this one. Wasn't expecting that to hit. So again, we'll move back a little bit.
Let's go.
Okay, and there's their pounce ability. He can probably pounce from way up there. Yep. Okay. So now we're getting... And this hook horror is not in combat yet. That's the other advantage of moving back here a little bit, is that they're calling for reinforcements. Oh, this hook horror is going to come down here. Can I hide right now? No, I can't. So it might move off. Otherwise, you would be in combat with all three of them, which still might happen, but we'll kind of see. So we are going to... Alright, now let's get everybody else involved.
I can be subtle sometimes.
So your area denial things or stuff like that isn't going to matter, and I'm going to get into combat with this hook horror here pretty quick, I can tell. Because of their pounce ability. They can just move all over the place. So... we're going to give a shatter here. See, where does she have to move to get out there? Oh, it actually... okay, so it did move into combat. I think it's too far out to be able to get all three. Yes. But I can get a shatter here. And it saved on both, which isn't great.
Aid me.
So... oh yeah, she's hypnotized.
The dance macabre.
So can I... no, I can't. So... can I get Will around here? It looks like I can.
Not a peep.
Okay, so that detection cone does go quite a ways around there. I would like to remove Filro from this fight. But to do that, going to have to move all the way around behind everybody. I don't know if I'll be able to jump here without triggering combat or not. Okay, so that's fine. Filro is right up here. at the top, and I might actually be able to climb up here and be behind him. I can. Okay, so he's kind of in a bad spot right there. I think this would work. Yes, this would. He's going to be really hard to hit because he's got mirror image. So let's pop both of these. Make sure Repelling Blast is on. It is. Okay. So he was really hard to hit because of that. I was hoping to knock him off down here and kill him. That would remove the Hypnotized off of Lae'zel. That's only going to happen for one more turn. But I was hoping to get her into combat now. Let's try and move Astarion back so that they have to, they're going to try and pounce no matter what. Okay, that's one good one. Don't care about the firebolt. They're gonna pounce again. Okay. So we've got a fairly good distribution here. Everybody's gone after a different enemy, or a different... So let's... Good, I do have a spot here. We're just going to do this to get dash active. Okay. So I need to move. I should have moved over here first. Because if I move out of the way. Alright, so what would be the best way to do this? If I move out here, he's going to turn around that way then. Okay, I think this will work best. Let's move here. Now let's move away. We're going to trigger an attack of opportunity. He's going to turn to face me. Okay. Now I can... My second one's already done. My second bonus action's already done. So let's just get in a main hand attack here against the hook horror. I was hoping to be able to get back into sneak and get a sneak attack, but couldn't.
Still breathing, despite everything.
So if we move here, we're going to invoke an attack of opportunity. But I think we're okay with that because we've got a high armor class. Okay, that wasn't great. Now if we move again, okay, we're still fine. Move here. What does Shriek do? let's see how far we are from everybody. Okay, so it got everybody. Good. So now all of the hook horrors have a 1d4 penalty to mental saving throws. And this is going to allow me to start utilizing Tasha's on one of them and making sure it's going to hit. Making sure it's going to land. So I think right now I'm going to use the amulet to cast Healing Word on myself. And that should be enough.
Victory awaits.
So now, Lae'zel, let's get her into this. Again, Feller of Monsters giving us advantage on this attack is extraordinarily useful. Okay, I rolled a 19. Let's throw the crit. Alright, so now we're going to use my bonus action with Great Weapon Master all in. And now with our extra attack, and Pure Fighter for the win, everybody. Because now I can move over here and action surge. Now we're going to move her right over next to this one so it can't pounce again. Will is now available because we removed that one. So let's go ahead, and if I do it there, he might fall off the edge. I don't necessarily want to do that, so let's move Will here. Okay, good.
Victory awaits.
My love! My joy!
Perfect. Alright, so let's click heals again. We'll move Astarion back here. We'll go into hiding.
Let's have a little fun. Yes, here.
Sneak up behind and do a melee sneak attack.
I wonder if this is worth the cost.
Okay, so I don't even think I'm going to need to immobilize this one, to be completely honest. I was going to use Tasha's on this, now that it's under the Shriek effect, but I don't think I'm going to have to. I would like to get over here. Do I have the ability to even reach him? I do not. I'm a tiny bit short. I'm like 1 foot short. Maybe I can reach him with an arrow of acid? Yes, I can.
Hope your soul is in
See if
good
I can
hands.
remove his concentration. And he made his saving throw, but it killed him, so we're good enough.
I am fury. I am death.
That wasn't great.
Forever dauntless.
And now we'll... Let's Misty Step him all the way down here. Only a 65% chance to hit, but... Okay, didn't expect a crit there. What did it... Okay, so it rolled a 15 on its damage roll too, out of 46, so it rolled well above average on that. So now I'm not going to be able to go into hiding again here because I'm threatened on the hook horror. I'm the one threatening the hook horror. And I really need to toggle that off.
I won't give in. Wonder if the gods are watching me.
So could have done without that big hit on Lae'zel there at the end.
Defender of the people.
Can't give up now. Better than nothing.
Okay, so the hook horrors give you hooks, which are good for elixirs of vigilance. Here, so another crafting supply.
No traps, please.
So, Rymar, what's my favorite companion?
Moving in.
I think my favorite is Astarion. And I don't mean that from a role-playing or a lore perspective. I mean that purely from a voice actor playing the game perspective. His interactions are just amazing. His voice acted lines are just crazy. So it's really fun having him in your party for certain situations. Like I say, the whole dog collar thing, you get some very interesting interactions and voice lines that I can't believe that Larian actually scripted. So here in this, you get a little bit more information about things, and that is protector or guardian of an adamantine forge. It talks about a hot hammer where, and it has a small map marked with numerous X's, and Dorn knows. Now we find out what Dorn was doing with that Drow party. He was looking for the adamantine forge. Okay, that gives us a new quest here, and it gives us also an icy crystal.
Something weak to this
So
hammer.
the icy crystal here and the icy helve start going together. You can see there are 3 parts needed for this, and we've only got 2, the helve and the crystal. So at some point we'll be able to combine all these together into something. Now that we learned about the adamantine forge, you can, and you don't have to wait for this. This is just a good time to do it. We're going to use the memory shard here.
A dull crystal glowing only faintly.
Now these are Arcana checks. I'm not great at Arcana here. So what I can do, and I can't remember if I just removed this from everybody's inventory. Here's the Warped Headband of Intellect. I can actually just do it with Will instead. I believe Will has... Yeah, he's got a +6 now to Arcana. So let's just move the memory shard over to Will. And have him do it.
A dull crystal, glowing only faintly.
So now we have an Arcana check, and he's got all the bonuses. Okay, we can add in a guidance as well.
You heard its like described before. A memory shard used to store brief mental impressions from the user's mind. The crystal's glow swells, drawing you into its depths. You are transported somewhere deep, loud, and hot as the hells themselves. Within the Underdark's bowels, beyond an ancient stronghold, hovers a giant hammer, waiting to fall. An echoing clang, and you're back to yourself, left only with a firm sense of a place, a grand forge.
Okay, and this again updates that same quest line for the Adamantine Forge. So opening this up, we did talk to Omeluum, and Omeluum gave us the Ring of Mind Shielding. So looking through the Underdark here, the quests we picked up, we need to find Baelen. We need to save the gnomes that was picked up from Thulla, and then the Adamantine Forge here. So the forge is protected by a guardian who is weak to magma and some kind of hot hammer. And then we found a memory shard that revealed the location of the Adamantine Forge. The Finish the Masterwork weapon quest pops up whenever you get close to the Sussar tree here. And we found it, now we need to take some of its bark. Okay, so that gives us another marker here. So save the Grimforge gnomes and reach the Adamantine Forge are both here in the Decrepit Village. And we're going to be going to do both of those here in a little bit. Okay, we want everybody in hiding here because there is another hook horror up here at the top of this tree. First, I guess we can take everybody back this way. There's the hook horror, right there. So we have another one to be able to fight. Now this one, if you don't care about the hook crafting material, there is a way to make this a little easier. And that's, you can see there's nothing around him on this side but chasm. So if you position yourself right and you get a blast that knocks him off of here, you'll knock him into the void and the combat will end. Now it's a little hard to get that placement to work. One, because the hook horrors have a large not hitbox, but the area of their movement, so to speak, is really big. So you can shove them, and even if a little portion of that circle below them lands on this tree, it will stop them from falling. So it can be a little bit hard to get this to work. Okay, so here you can see if I landed, it's going to knock him this way. And down this way, hopefully knocks him into here. Now, one, you have to hit. I have an 88% chance to hit here. But second, you also have to have him fail the strength check against repelling blast. So there's, whenever you hit something with repelling blast, they have a strength check to be able to resist being pushed away. Now to
with every breath, a purpose.
help with that, I'm just looking to see. Okay. So the only thing would be to find a way to lower his strength checks. Now, obviously, Hex is a good way to do that. We could Hex its strength right now. That's going to put us in combat, but I would have to be hoping that my initiative roll is higher than his so that I could get the repelling blast off before he moves towards me. And Will's dexterity is giving him a +2 to that check. The dexterity here is a +0, so I've got a decent chance. So you're basically making a choice here. You want to take the guaranteed hit and hope that without any bonuses, he fails the strength check to knock him off. And his strength is 18, so it's got a +4 to it. Or do you want to try and Hex him to lower his strength checks and then hope you beat him on initiative? 6 of one, half dozen the other, in my view. So I'm going to take the guaranteed hit here and see if I can get him knocked off and see if this angle's correct. It's been a while since I've done it this way. And we'll see if I can knock him off here. If not, I'm going to have to get everybody else into this combat here. Okay, so he passed both of them. So the enemy is surprised here. I actually completely forgot about that. So now we're going to Hex his strength. I forgot that he was going to be surprised by this. And now we can do it again, and he has a much less chance of being able to resist the repelling blast. But it's a lower chance to hit. And I missed both 65%ers.
Ready for anything.
Okay, so I do have another option here. And this is getting really dangerous. Having this combat up here. I'm going to do a pushing attack. Okay. And I can't shove him. Okay, so it's saving on all of my pushing attacks. No, it's not. Say it rolled a 4, it only rolled an 8 on that saving throw. So it's just not able to be pushed off of here because of the angle. Okay, that's what I said a little bit ago. It's kind of tricky to get this angle right. To get it where it's in a position to be pushed off. So, I was kind of wondering why it wasn't working there. It's just because the angle's a little bit off. There's only a tiny angle in here that has to line up to be able to push him off the tree here. I don't think it's a big deal though, because we've gotten so much damage on him so far. We should be able to end this here. Without too much difficulty, I think. Yeah, not a problem.
Don't mind me. Anything of use?
Alright, so we'll group everybody back up and we'll take everybody back over here. Where are you going? Is there a reason? Get over here, please. Pathing. Okay, so over here there's a lot of camp supplies here.
Always room for more.
That we can pick up. We'll look at the tattered scroll here in a minute. Okay, so this is what it talks about the magma again. It's another reference down to the adamantine forge and what we're going to have to deal with down there. And we're going to get more into that. So now what we need to do is, I guess there is a couple more camp supplies over here. Yeah. Now we're going to split the group and just take our bard back up here to the top of the tree again. Because right up here where this hook horror was, and right here is some Sussar tree bark.
I've got the plans and the Sussar bark. Now I need somewhere to craft it.
Okay, so that does open up the finish the Masterwork quest option, and we're going to go do this before we talk to Sovereign, Spa, and Glut. And this is the reason for it, is that if you have Glut in your party right now, you can't leave the Underdark without losing him. Whereas right now we don't, so we can head out to the Blighted Village.
Seems simple
And
enough.
we can head down here. And complete this quest. Now, we are going to use the greatsword version of this weapon here, and that's why I have saved this one regular greatsword here. So first, we're going to turn on the furnace. Okay. I thought you just turned it on first. Okay, fine. We will put the Sussar bark in it first, and that's going to start the furnace.
Now for a great sword, dagger, or sickle.
Okay, so this is now a little different than, and I don't remember this from my personal playthrough. Okay, so now we're going to go into the melting furnace, and now we can add our greatsword in.
The roaring furnace awaits an offering. A candy-sweet scent wafts forth. The Sussar bark infuses the weapon from within the flames. The flames sputter away. The sword is complete.
Okay, that completes the quest. Here. And in our inventory now, we have a Sussar greatsword. This is a +1 greatsword. Okay, so if we look at Lae'zel and we have the comparison here, it's a +1 weapon, the same as the Githyanki greatsword. It does not have the additional psychic damage, the 1d4 psychic damage. That's why it's only 8 to 18 versus 9 to 22. So, however, the bonus for this is that it silences the target on hit. This can be extraordinarily useful when you're in fights against magic using targets. Basically, you're giving up some damage for the ability to cast the silence spell on whoever you hit. This gives them a condition. This is not like the spell silence. This gives them a condition of silence, which means that they just can't cast spells. And this isn't a once per long rest thing or a once per short rest thing. This is just go hit everybody you can with it, and it's going to silence that target. Now, you can also cleave with this weapon, which means that you can swing it in an arc and hit 3 enemies at once. And you can potentially, if you hit all of them, silence all of them. So it can be an extraordinarily useful weapon against magic using classes and that sort of stuff. So this is why I choose it. I'm willing in certain instances to give up that additional 1d4 damage to be able to silence a target when I hit it.
Still alive.
So now that I've got it, I can head back down to the Sussar tree. And we're going to continue on.
Have to keep going.
And we've got about 15 minutes left here, which is perfect. Now you can pick up Sussar blooms. And again, we've looked at these before. These have a Sussar anti-magic field, which means they nullify nearby magic. So these are an AoE type of effect that if you carry it around, then magic can't be cast inside of that field. So it's like a mobile silence spell, but it's more than that because it also cancels out magical buffs and debuffs and that sort of stuff. So it can be incredibly useful. However, as soon as you pick it up, and we'll go pick one up.
More for me.
So now see, it's following me around, right? Once I get close, that field gets expanded to other people. It's an AoE thing in a 3-meter radius around you. Right? So, but again, it's also going to be canceling out buffs and that sort of thing as well. So it can be very useful if you're just going full damage against a large group of magic users and that sort of stuff. However, you're carrying it and you can't put it away or do anything like that with it. I'm going to send it to camp just so I have one sitting around in my camp in case I want to try it out in certain other situations. But you don't want to be carrying it around on your party for the most part. Can that work with bow's range? No, the options that you have for crafting the Masterwork weapon so it doesn't say it here, and I've already sold off the blueprints, but I believe it's a longsword, a dagger, or a sickle. Or the three Masterwork, or yeah, greatsword, dagger, and sickle are the three Masterwork weapons that you can create with it. I think those are the three. There isn't a ranged Masterwork weapon. They're all melee based. So, unfortunately, no. That would actually be a little bit OP, probably, to be able to target anyone you want from range and silence them. So I can understand why that's probably not in there. Going to take out the Bibber Bang here. And we'll wait for this to subside. Shouldn't take all that long. We're going to pick up this other Sussar bloom over here and send it off to camp as well. And it just takes a bit for these fumes to subside, but they do. It's not nearly as bad as it was in early access when I think it was like 32 turns or something like that. So it took forever for those things to go away. Okay, and now you can see we're kind of back up here in this area that we were starting to explore when we first left the Myconid Colony. And we're going to head down here. And you can see we're getting a quest marker here for Find Baelen. And now I'm going to check and see what scrolls I have on me. I have a bad feeling that I don't have the one that I need. I don't. Let me just do one final check here and make sure. Yes, I don't. So you're going to get to see me do this a different way. So here, yes, I don't have a scroll of Misty Step in my inventory, so I cannot just throw the scroll to Baelen like I normally would. So I'm gonna have to do this the long way. I can't believe out of all those scrolls that I've picked up, I don't have a scroll of Misty Step. But it doesn't look like I do. Okay. So I think what we're going to actually do here is we're going to move up here a little bit and trigger this cutscene.
Stop! Stop!
Bibberbang!
Where Bibberbang blows, noble stalk grows. The dwarf was harvesting valuable noble stalk amongst these explosive Bibberbang mushrooms.
I know that! Scroll! Escape! My bag, please! I've dropped it somewhere! Thank you, thank you!
Okay, so, and that's a very interesting thought, Cyber. I don't think it's going to work, but it's a very interesting thought, and I don't even know if I have that on this character. I don't. So, yeah, no, it's a very interesting thought, though. I like it. So how you do this without having a scroll of Misty Step is you need to have some, well, you don't need to have water on you. There's a way you can do it without it, but having some way to generate water, either with a water bottle or the Rain Dancer, which is why I moved the Rain Dancer onto Lae'zel,
Proceeding.
is the way that you want to do this. I'm moving it to Lae'zel because Lae'zel has the highest strength. She also has Misty Step available to her once per long rest as a bonus action. But I can jump a long way with Lae'zel. Now, you can actually get down there and grab that torch before the Bibberbang goes off. It's just one of those things where you really don't want to chance it in this case. And now I have Create Water, so I can put the torch out. Now I can jump down here into this corner. And now Baelen's backpack is right here.
What are you doing? Get out of there!
Okay, and now I can move back a little bit. And now here, I can jump all the way in here next to Baelen.
Careful! Stop! Stop! Bibberbang!
You recognize the name. Bibberbang, a mushroom that releases dangerous spores. Highly flammable.
I know that. Scroll. Escape. My bag, please. I've dropped it somewhere.
Okay, so now you can hold up the scroll of Misty Step.
Yes! That's... Yes! I just have to... And then... Here! I just... It's Alan! God.
Okay, and then he's gone over here. I'm going to leave her there for now.
Ah, right, as... what were you saying? I was looking for... Derryth. She'll be worried sick. I must... need to go. For you. Your trouble. Ta.
Okay, and we get an extra scroll of invisibility out of that. And we do, there were 2 scrolls of Misty Step in there, so we now have an additional one. So now from here, I can jump my way back. Now you don't have to jump back up here, but it's safer if you do. And there's something else that we want to get here, and that's right here. And that's the noble stock. This is the reason that Derryth and Baron were here, was for this, and we need to get it. Now, if you haven't cut off the torch, then as soon as you trigger one of the bearer bang, this whole thing explodes, and it will actually destroy the noble stock. So if you want to pick up the noble stock, you definitely need to put out the torch first so that nothing ignites any of this, and then you can carry on with clearing out and destroying all of these, waiting for the fumes to subside, and then you can just go pick it up. However, that is going to have to wait for next week. That gets us to a really good spot to take a pause. So next week we're going to start off by clearing this out. We're going to pick up the noble stock. We're going to go complete that quest back at the Myconid Colony. And then we're going to talk to Sovereign Spa and Sovereign Glut and head out to the Decrepit Village and deal with the Duergar who are over there and who are responsible for all of these Myconid deaths. So stick with us as we go into next week, and it should be a fun one as we move into the Grimforge as well next week. So should be a lot of stuff to take a look at. So also reminder that just in a little bit under an hour here, we're going to be starting our Paladin live stream. So I would be more than happy to have you join me again for another 3-hour live stream if you have the time. And hopefully I'll see you then. So as always, I'd like to thank everyone for coming along with me today. Without your support, none of this would be possible. This is Commander Jorval saying until next time, fare thee well.